Coming up on Look Today, Governor Cuomo's proposal to raise the minimum wage meets opposition. I've got details. And an online fund is available for the Greenwich boy who passed away in that tragic hiking accident. I've got those details. And a Queensbury man finds worldwide success as a composer. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome, everyone. I'm J. Hood Jackson, and this is Look Today. Well, in tonight's program, I sit down with Cindy Harrington. She's the Director of Marketing and Development for Shelters of Saratoga, and she's joined by former Mayor Ken Klotz. He's a volunteer at the shelter. I also sit down with Sue McCann. Now, she's the Vice President of the Community Builders, and she's here to talk about the High Rock Parking Lot Project in Saratoga. Plus, we have your weather for the Tri-North counties, but first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, Governor Cuomo's proposal to raise minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2021 has been met with significant opposition. Well, specifically by members of the New York State Assembly, who represent the farm industry and small businesses. Now, while this campaign would greatly benefit those who work in the service and fast food industries, farmers would suffer. Over the last 10 years, farmers have typically paid more than the minimum wage per hour. However, if the wage is raised, many farmers fear that they will not be able to compensate their workers to match this increase. Now, the New York Farm Bureau stated that costs for smaller farms would increase by $30,000 a year and $850,000 for bigger farms. That's a lot of money. Well, we'll keep you posted on this story as we gather more details. In other news, we have an update on the tragic hiking accident that killed Connor McLaughlin. An online fund has been set up to help pay for the funeral expenses. The fund will also establish a scholarship at the Greenwich Middle School. Now, Connor was only 12 years old. Those wishing to donate to the fund can visit inlovingmemoryofconnor.com. I'll give you that again. inlovingmemoryofconnor.com. And once again, our thoughts and condolences are with Connor's family. Switching from news to weather. Well, the morning saw some sunshine with an overcast sky coming in later in the day. So let's see how tomorrow is shaping up. For a more detailed look, let's go to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast. And back to the news. Well, SUNY Adirondack in Queensbury held a job fair today in their gymnasium. Representatives of local businesses came to the fair in hopes of recruiting students. Now, many of the companies sought students with technical and science degrees, hoping to bolster the local workforce. Well, we spoke with Sherry Aiken of Morcon Tissue about their available positions.
We are hiring a maintenance mechanic. We are hiring 5 operators on our second and third shift. Also have an administrative support position.
Now, Jacqueline Starling of Global Foundries also made an appearance, and she spoke to us about the employment opportunities they have to offer students.
We're here looking for some local talent for our semiconductor foundry with Global Foundries. We're looking at opening some positions for technicians, especially the area breeds a lot of good STEM careers for us. So we are here looking for applicants.
In other news, well, here's a good story for you. A Queensbury resident spent most of his life running Adirondack Ed Specialties and raising 2 children with his wife of nearly 39 years. Well, on the surface, Neil Tater would appear to be a man who lives a simple, pleasant life. But he's also a chart-topping musician with his name on the Grammy ballot. Now, he has 2 albums that have gotten international radio play. I know Neil personally for about 10 years, which is why I love telling you about this. Now, Neil taught several songwriting courses at Larac and continues to teach at Double H Ranch. And he also teaches at some area colleges. Now, we're going to have Neil Tater on the show for an interview next Wednesday, and you're definitely going to want to see this. Congratulations, Neil. Well, up next, I sit down with Cindy Harrington. Now, she's the Director of Marketing and Development for Shelters of Saratoga, and she's going to be joined by former Mayor Ken Klotz, who's a volunteer at the shelter. Plus, I also sit down with Sue McCain. Now, she's a Vice President of Community Builders, and she's here to talk about the High Rock Parking Lot Project in Saratoga. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000.